Welcome to Danu on Fire, and we are speaking to Mr. Jerome Fernando. How do you name?
Fernando. Yep.
What was the P part for?
Suzuki.
Let's Jerome Fernando. But he also is known as PJ. And I asked him what does it stand for. It's Suzuki. I don't want to know how many people have seen for them to call it that. Suzuki.
Yeah.
You had an eventful school life?
Yeah, very much.
Okay.
At St. Joseph's College.
I thought as much.
Yeah.
You know, we refined Peterites always know how to, address others.
Yeah. That much is right.
I know this Pisu Jokia, Pisu Yaka, none of that we use.
Pisuzuki in a very positive sense in St. Joseph's College, if I may say. We are saints.
Just to let you know, we are checking out Valau Akade. Yay! It's a new spot. You have to come check it out. Truly Sri Lankan food, and they give it with some good ice Milo, which I can't wait to try. Anyway, let's speak about what goes down with Jerome. Now, Jerome is someone who I met when I went for a beach cleanup. I'm not equipped to do such work, but I somehow managed to pull through. But he and his team has been working hours around our country, making sure that we have clean ocean for the future generation of our country. Am I correct?
Yes.
When did it start? Why did it start? Why did you actually start with this beach cleanup project?
Well, Danu, as a child, I was from Vattala. I was a Vattala boy.
Vattala boy.
So every Saturday, Sundays, as you know, we are in Usadakeyava or the Palliyavatta beach. So this is where we were growing up with the beach. So it was always in our blood, the living in the beachfront. So I always want to do something back to Mother Earth, and I love beaches. I used to just spend hours in the beach. So we have been doing things unofficially for a very long time, but since about 3 years ago, when a very special person of mine, one of my very, very long-standing partners from Germany, we were just doing a stroll on the Mount Lavinia beach, and we were kicking plastic bottles on every step we took. So we just stood for a while, and we asked each other, is this a beach should be? Obviously not. We boast our nation to be a tourist, a nation where tourists are attracted, the beaches, the pristine beaches, but where have they gone now? So this is where, I wanted to make an initiative, just do something that somebody else have not done. What? A daily beach cleanup program. A daily beach cleanup program.
So your thoughts went rapidly to an everyday mission.
Yep.
Okay. And how was your first start?
Yeah, so it was challenging. Okay, people were questioning me, is this guy crazy? Because you can't, in normal sense, do a daily beach cleanup program, because you quite rightly came for a beach cleanup and you saw a full setup running, right? But how do we do this daily? So this is where we realized, or personally realized, that a public-private enterprise system is a must. We have to get involved with the governmental authorities. We have to partner with them, and they have to partner with us. We can, these two, private and public, often they try to have individual agendas. But when you meet together, there can be a nice mechanism.
That's because the agenda was not for the agenda.
Exactly.
The agenda was for their own agenda.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we have to make a difference. Somebody has to make initiatives. If everyone thinks, okay, this belongs to someone else, then this world will never be a better place. So yeah, I took an initiative. Then
this is back in 2019.
2019, and officially we launched in 2020 July. Right, and we took over what we call Adopt a Beach. We adopted beaches. We start with 3 beaches at the start. How did we do this daily program? To answer your question, we are tied up with the authority called the Samurdhi. So we run a twin-pronged approach. While we conserve or protect the beaches and the ocean, we also protect the poor people through this.
Right.
So it's a twin-pronged approach. So we get them to volunteer to our kind of work, and we give them an incentive. We incentivize the whole program.
Right. So that means they're also motivated to clean.
Exactly.
They get an income out of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as you know, Samurdhi earners, they get a very, very, very minute income from the government. So we want them to stand on their own.
Curious question. When it comes to Samurdhi workers, the highest task force, women or men?
women.
It's so embarrassing for our country. We give so much of pressure to the gender that bears the child, looks after the child. I've been to some of these places where some of the communities do live, and it's just a sight to feel really bad. And you are ashamed to be a man, actually, to know that you cannot run the house in any way, contribute in any way, like even your sanity is not there, which is really bad. But thanks for the initiative. We are going to speak more about it, of course. Let's just give everyone the name of the whole project is called.
Yeah, it's Clean Ocean Force. This is the non-profit organization. This is the name of it. So our theme is conserving beaches and oceans, and we launched it in the Western Province. Now we are launching out all over Sri Lanka.
Do you eat seafood?
I do eat, but now I have cut down on seafood, Danu. But nevertheless, I mean, let's share one. Why not?
You want the clean ocean so they can live happily as well?
Of course.
And healthy them. Let's see you after break. This stick around. This is Danu on Fire. Back with us on the show, this is Danu on Fire, right here on Hi TV, in conversation with Jerome Fernando. So, about this topic about this clean ocean has been done by so many different organizations. And people tend to be reluctant when it comes to contributing any types of funding, any type of support, or even mileage, because they are quite worried about the fact that, is this actually legit for a real reason? How can we change that mindset?
Well, Danu, like I told you, it's a matter of an individual decision. We all live in this world. I always say we have to look after where we breathe. So it's a personal initiative. So why people are hesitant to help is, one, many projects are not sustainable. But this is why a project such as ours, which is a daily program, which also takes care of the poor people simultaneously. And if you look at the last 2 years, you can see by the records and the quantities what an amount of plastics and other trash that we have removed from the oceans to save something for the next generation. So, I mean, everyone has a duty towards Mother Earth, if I may say. Contribute. If you can't contribute anything financially, come join us. Obviously, you have two hands. Just a matter of 1 hour, maybe once in 2 weeks. If you can't do that, well, that's questionable, Danu.
True. And if you can be in bent positions for other things, I'm
Exactly.
sure this is a good thing. Now, I wanted to ask you, this is just my curiosity playing. I've actually asked him this question before. What are the weird things we have found in this cleanup, especially Crow Island being one of the worst hit places?
Okay, on a military point of view, we have even found grenades. Of course, then the police have to, take charge of it. But
If someone like me, I'll not know what a grenade is.
yeah, so the thing is, we have told our people, when you pick something, if you have not seen it before, just don't touch it. Right? Yeah, especially a grenade.
Yeah.
The guys were like, "Oops, it's like an egg. Okay, this looks nice." So God's sake, don't touch it. Well, There are things that I have found and you can't even.
I'm sure you can. We can tell anything here. Tell me.
Of course, I mean, things.
You have found bodies.
Yeah, bodies, of course,
Yeah.
Many. Because, it comes through the rivers and, it just comes in. And
These are those things that we hear, unidentified body has been floating and found.
Exactly.
That's you who is passing the information. But it's so sad, right? And sometimes they have been like tied and...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Recently, we found one, hands and feet tied up, and I've read this in storybooks where kings used to hang massive rocks
so that you'll drown all the way to the bottom.
So maybe a king would have done it. I don't know.
And do you think they are going to be floating till now?
Question.
Yeah. Anyways, but the risk factor that comes along with this is also huge for you, because you have a team working, and how do you sort of prepare them for it, and especially the volunteers?
Okay, so we have two categories. Like I said, the daily volunteers are from the Samurdhi, mainly women. So we call them the mothers of the nation. There's nothing less.
When I came that day, there were, I think, 98% of women.
Yeah, exactly. So there's nothing less than we call them mothers of the nation, because they provide for their families, surely. So the next segment of it is volunteers like you and me. Okay, I mean, people who do not actually know what to do on a beach. So we have an awareness program. We tell them what to do, what not to do, because there are dangers on the beaches, not especially on the Crow Island. There are snakes. I didn't tell you that day because I didn't want to scare you off.
Yeah.
Right? There are some of the most poisonous snakes on the Crow Island beach. There we call it the Velipolanga. And you have one single bite of it, you're done. You're done. Few seconds, bang, you're done. So,
thank you.
Yeah.
Because all of you all were in those long boots.
Yeah, that's what.
But you know what I was in, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you.
And you try to get into that T-shirt
that
for
was
a very
impossible.
long time.
that was just impossible. That beach cleanup T-shirts are made only for those who are thin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was XL, all XL.
That was Excel. Never mind. Just fat shaming me in the process. But now I wanted to ask you, in terms of this beach cleanup process, if somebody wants to contribute directly to this organization, how can they do so? And how can they see their money being used in the right way?
So they can do it corporates can get involved with us by way of adopting beaches for themselves. So they know exactly what happens. And there are many corporates who have their CSR programs that they want to do in the ocean and the beachfront. Right, so it's a matter of they visiting our website. They can read all our details. They can contribute financially, and they can select some of our pre-designated projects, so they know exactly what they are putting their monies into, and they will be given proper reporting. They are called to come visit. So these are not only beaches, Danu, because we believe that cleaning beaches is going to be forever. We will do that till cows come home.
That is if you don't clean the lakes.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, talking about the Crow Island, because there's a lot of, I think even if you put 1,000 man hours in there, with 10,000 people working, you'll never be able to clean that.
No.
Piles and piles of dirt. And it's such a central place in Colombo.
Yeah.
But how, tentatively you tell me, approximate, how long do you think it will take to clean that?
You can't ever, because Danu, what we have to understand is Crow Island is in such a proximity where it's adjoining one of the mainstream rivers called the Callan River, as you and I know. The river mouth is just around the corner. So all the trash that comes during the rainy time or on a day that there's a flow, a massive flow, so it brings all the plastics in and it comes through the waves. So if you you and I would love to sit there and look at the beautiful waves coming, but if you really sit there and look at the waves, you will see all plastics
types of things
coming in,
Yeah.
So
I found some very interesting things when I was cleaning.
Yeah.
Like things that you use in the nights, during the day.
Yeah, sad to say.
Things that you wear.
But how did it come through the river? This is my problem.
Must have washed it there. But I must tell you one thing though, the point that we need to always remember is, if you have thought throwing your junk out of the house is you being clean, actually you are polluting.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't know that. Like there are my family members who have done this, and I'm always saying it's not in your house, but it's somewhere.
Somewhere, of course.
Yeah. So that's where the problem is. Let's speak more when we do come back, because this whole garbage solution of segregating is not still being practiced. Let's speak to Jerome on more. Welcome back to the show. We are at hi.lk. You have to come check it out. It's down Havelock, and I love the food. It's very Sri Lankan in many ways than one. We are talking to Jerome, and we were talking about the ocean and the contribution that we have to do in terms of keeping it safe and clean. Now, in terms of resources, now we have found avenues to adopt a beach. And how many beaches have been adopted so far?
So right now, Danu, we do more than 26 massive beaches which are actually highly polluted. So from the north of Negombo, which is the adjoining beach, to the Mahawaya, right up to down to Berual we do right now.
Okay, so those beaches are all covered by y'all,
Yes.
or like by organizations, or
Yeah.
okay. How much would it be in terms of cost to adopt a beach?
Well, it depends again on the extent of the pollution. So if you quite rightly, you saw the Crow Island beach, how polluted it was. So we need at least 5 daily trash pickers or caretakers to do the job.
And that is to just keep it at minimal level.
Minimum level. So all the other beaches which we consider to be a tourist attraction, especially in the south. So we want actually the daily beach caretakers to not only to take the plastics out, but make sure it's clean for tourists to come and enjoy. I mean, that's what they come for.
Correct.
I mean, what else do we have to offer? It's the beaches.
And also, what happens to the trash that's being picked?
Very good question. So this is where the sustainability comes in. So all the plastics that collects, as you know, there are different kinds of plastics and trash. So we sort it out. So there are recyclables and non-recyclables. So whatever that can be recycled has a value, of course. So we get the recyclers to pick it up and also to pay us. And that money also we give it back to these poor pickers.
Right.
And the rest of it, of course, is taken from the municipal council for dumping. So.
Okay. So I have this curious question to ask. Now that you have now that you have involved yourself in this for the past 2 years or 3 years, there have also very strict regulations that was brought in by the government, saying that the trash between plastic, waste and also paper needs to be separated so that it is easier for garbage pickup. But now, as someone who is living in more or less of a scheme, we bought all types of colors and named them and tagged them and put everything separately. But none of the ones who work in picking up the garbage were willing to take it as it was segregated. They said we dump everything together. So they put everything into the same thing. So that means, where is the issue? Because I feel that is where this could stop.
Yeah. So number one is our habits. We take it very easy. When we ought to separate a wrapper or for an example, a gift wrap, from the polythene to the paper part of it. Sometimes we don't actually do it. We just put everything in the bin. But of course, you have to separate it and then do it. And what happens is, even if you separate, then comes the waste management part.
And also the ones who pick it up just put everything together.
Exactly. So we are lacking education, we are lacking awareness. Once again, it's...
So were you able to speak to any type of government bodies that will implement it as a rule that will also have some kind of bearing on them? It could be a fine, it could be some kind of regulation.
Yeah, so we work with the Ministry of Local Government, and then we work with a set of authorities under the umbrella, and also Sri Lanka Police is really supporting us in this. So yeah, we have managed to set out certain campaigns where we try to catch people and try to educate them or find them. But it's just it's just another day, Danu. So I think it's a total change of mentality. I mean, we always talk about system changes in this nation, but we have to change ourselves first.
For the system to be put in place.
Exactly.
sad. But it's actually the truth, and it's quite painful to see that we are taking so long. Well, I think you have done an amazing job, and the youngsters who come forward to collaborate, support, they really see it. Don't you see there's a shift in the way people think? Like my parents, or like they were so fascinated when plastic was brought in. They will buy a plastic box to box another plastic box, and you know it was such a. But right now, youngsters, the millennials, are very cautious about it. They do not want to say yes to a plastic straw. They want either paper. Don't you think there's a change which has organically taken place?
Indeed. Because one thing is now that change also has brought in some kind of a fashion statement. You know, people want to throw away the usual straw and go for a metal straw.
Yeah.
It's a fashion statement right now. I mean, throw away your plastic bag, go with, you know, what our grandmoms used to use, you know, this pang man.
Yeah.
It's a fashion statement right now. So go with it. So I think there's an organic change, like you said. So yeah, hopefully, you know, if this generation, the next generation can bring this forth and have changes, yeah, at least in the next 5 years, we could see some turnaround in this era, in this arena.
Great. Thank you so much, Jerome, for joining us for your conversation. More details on them and how they can reach out to you is available online. You can always speak to them through their Facebook and Instagram pages. There'll be somebody who will direct you on how you can help. Thank you so very much for joining me today on this conversation. I hope you were able to give enough information.
Thank you so much, Danu. I mean, for inviting me. I mean, it's a great pleasure to be with you and this time, and actually to take this news to the rest of the world through your channels, which is awesome, by the way.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Would also like to say a big thank you to our friends here at Dialog Ch. For some odd reason, I have thought of Mahagedara and all types of things. There's this Dialog. But this Dialog is not too far away. It's actually in Colombo. Enjoy the food. Thank you to the team here. They have been absolutely amazing. We'll see you with another cool episode. Till then, keep smiling. The year end is upon us. We'll see you soon.